So this is gonna be a little different than the videos I usually do on this channel, but I do talk about scammers. So we're gonna check out this video. It's been all over TikTok, but the question is, what did she order that made this man walk out on a date? Did she actually use him for a free meal? Did she scam him? Let's check it out.
Y'all would not believe what just happened. Like, I literally went on a date with a guy, and let's just say, mind you, he's sitting right next to me. I ordered what I want. He didn't want to order anything because he ate. So he just ordered a drink. I ordered what I wanted, and he hears it clearly because he's right next to me.
She's going to tell us what she ordered. And if you haven't seen this video, get ready.
The food comes, he started making all these comments. Oh, you ordered that? Oh, you gonna eat all that? Mind you, I told him that my friend flew into town and that after dinner I was gonna go see her.
What? Did you ask him about ordering the extra food for the friend that you're gonna see later on?
Cause she wanted me to pull up on her or whatever. He's like, did you order some food for your friend? He was like, if I wasn't here, would you order all that? Baby, you think I can't afford a meal?
What I've heard so far, it doesn't seem like you're able to. Just saying.
I said, honestly, if you wasn't here, I would have still ordered like this. This is how I eat with my friends. This is how I eat when I'm by myself. Crazy.
What was that about? Okay. This is like a cartoon. Like this person is just going with every stereotype you could possibly imagine.
But the kicker is, this man said, oh, I'm gonna go. I said, okay. He lays down $100, walks off. Mind you, he called us a black truck to dinner. So I rode with him in an Uber. He left. He didn't say anything besides I'm gonna go, and then set the money down and then dipped off. He didn't ask if I needed a ride, how was I gonna get home.
Well, you had the $100 he gave you. This is a red flag. She's ordering freely, but slips it in that her friend is in town. Mentioning the friend casually could be a way of justifying ordering extra food, hoping that he'll just pick up the tab for both. Why bring up the friend if they're not involved in the date? It feels like she's testing the waters to see if she could push the bill higher. Imagine sitting next to someone on a date who starts ordering extra food for a friend. It shifts from a date to some kind of setup, hinting that she's more interested in seeing what she can get than the actual date. And then here she's painting herself as being abandoned and being disrespected. But he put down the money, so it's not like he left her stranded financially. Her talking about getting a ride just seems forced, as if she's looking for reasons for him to look bad. He was already fed up and likely leaving because he sees through her plan, expecting a ride home after treating him as an extra meal ticket, and she's trying to frame him as rude for leaving. In reality, he likely felt scammed and chose to cut his losses, which was probably the most reasonable response here.
He didn't ask what the bill was, nothing. Mind you, this is a 45-year-old man, grown-ass Nigerian man.
Instead of acknowledging that, hey, maybe you were wrong, she has to do what everyone else does nowadays, double down.
Okay, I'm gonna do a quick story time because I don't know what some of y'all problems are, making it seem like what I ordered was outrageous. This man took me to a steakhouse, okay? Keep that in mind. This is a dinner date. What do you do at dinner? You eat dinner. I told him that like I wanted steak, asparagus, like I wanted like the full, So he knew, mind you, he picked the restaurant. I didn't pick it, he picked the restaurant, okay? So, and again, I got the lamb chops. The lamb chops are cheaper than the steak itself. That's number one. So if I would have got the steak and an appetizer or two, it would have added up. And also, I don't know about y'all, have some standards, okay? If you're taking me to a steakhouse, I'm going to order what I want. Not only because it's like you're paying for it, but I can afford what I want to eat, okay?
This sounds very defensive. Now she's doubling down, like I said, saying that she can afford it, but expecting him to pay. If she could truly afford it, then why do you need to emphasize this so hard? It's contradictory, and it comes off like she's using his willingness to pay as an excuse to go all out, to pay for a meal for someone who's not even in the restaurant. Just because you're at a steakhouse doesn't mean you need to order everything and anything without any consideration. The contradiction here, that she could pay but won't because he's there, doesn't exactly scream sincerity. Now, this is how it should have worked. If she was gonna order the extra meal, pay for that meal. Hey, I'm going to order for my friend. I'm going to meet up later. Even though that still sounds bogus. You can say, you know what? I can Cash App you or Venmo you that portion of the meal. And he probably wouldn't have a problem with it because he's taking you out, not you and your friend. Unless your friend showed up, your friend wasn't there because your friend was probably back at the house. Let's be honest.
And there's nothing wrong if you can't afford it, but I can afford it. So I'm not about to starve myself or act like I don't want to eat something because a guy took me on a date. I've never experienced something like that. So again, like when I say it's the worst day ever, it is because I've never experienced nothing like that. And I never had a man walk out on me at dinner.
That probably was a big ego blow. Because you can look at her, she's very attractive. This doesn't happen often enough. So she was legit surprised.
So that was crazy. It was a few red flags, like me asking him, like, I had hinted, I was like, so what are you going to eat? And he just was like, oh, I'm not hungry, like I ate. And I was like, why would you eat? We had dinner planned.
She sounds surprised that he didn't question the bill amount, which hinted that she expected to negotiate or kind of make a scene. It's almost as if she wanted a reaction so she can paint herself as the victim, but his calm, direct exit threw her completely off. Her surprise shows that she's used to people acting differently. And it seemed like his quiet departure was the last thing she wanted, the last thing she expected. She set this up to escalate the bill, but when he just left, it completely threw her narrative off.
He was like, because I have a 7-year-old. Like, he got smart. He was like, because I have a 7-year-old. Mind you, this man been calling me all day, making sure I'm going on this date, making sure I'm okay. He wanted to send me food earlier, was letting me know that we had to push our date back a little bit because he still had his son and he had to wait a little bit longer to drop his son off to his ex-wife. Cool, no biggie. So why would you eat knowing that we had dinner plans? I digress. That was like the second red flag.
Now she's trying to pin the blame on him for having eaten earlier, which just sounds weird and petty. It's like she's upset that he wasn't as invested in this meal as she was and her friend, probably because he saw through some strategy and chose not to play along. If anything, he's setting a boundary by not engaging in a dinner that feels more about her appetite than actually getting to know each other. Blaming him for eating beforehand feels like a reach, trying to turn the tables on him for not being a part of this nonsense plan of hers.
I'm not going to say what the other one was. But as soon as, mind you, he's sitting right next to me. So when I order all my food, he's hearing it. He's literally right next to me. We sat at the bar because he's 6'8" and he didn't want to sit at a table because like his legs and his knees or whatever. Had no problem with that. So he's literally sitting directly next to me. He's hearing what I'm saying. I order my food, no comment. My food comes out, all these comments. And it just wasn't one or two comments. It was repeated comments back to back to back where it was like, even the bartender was kind of like looking over it because it's like, you're making me feel uncomfortable. And like, if I was a bigger woman, I would have felt like you was body shaming me. Because why are you asking me that? Why are you asking me if I'm going to eat the food that I ordered? What did I order it for? Why are we on a dinner date? He was like, oh, you order all that? He was like, you going to eat all that? He was like, did you order something for your friend? He was like, if I wasn't here, was you going to order that? And I was like, that's such an interesting comment to make.
It's a question. He's asking a question. It's not a comment. He's questioning the amount of food that you're ordering. It seems a bit off. I mean, unless see your pictures, you don't have a big back. So why are you ordering all this food? And again, who is this friend that you're pulling up on later after this date? Why this friend doesn't come in and throw some couple of dollars down to pay for the meal that you're giving that person? Oh, sorry, her. Yeah.
And it was like silent for 5 minutes and then he apologized. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I wasn't trying to be rude. And I was literally telling him, I was like, yeah, because I'm like, that was very offensive. I was like, I actually feel very disrespected. I was like, that was definitely rude. He was like, oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't my intentions. And I was like, okay. And I was like, and he was telling me because prior to the food coming out, we had a conversation where I was stating that I don't like dating in Houston. And I was telling him why. He said he didn't like dating in Houston because he feel like women here are just finesse, like other cities. It's not like Houston. Like, this is the only city that women like money. He was just like, I feel like women just like you for your money. They wanted you to take them on trips and this, and that. That was like red flag number 2.
Because it was a red flag because that's what she's looking for. And he was already, he already was telling you. He already gave you what his boundaries were and what he didn't like. And obviously that's a red flag because you want him to spend money on you. Her discomfort likely comes from her plan falling apart than truly being offended. It's easy to see how she was trying to make this about him, making her feel uncomfortable, but the setup reveals that she was pushing the boundaries. She was expecting to get away with ordering freely and making him pay, and her frustration is really all about her expectations not being met. The tone suggests, in my opinion, she wanted to have control over the situation, and when he left, she was forced to rethink her own actions.
whatever. I'm like, okay. So he was breaking that to me. He was like, yeah, you know, this kind of just happened to my friend. And he took a girl on a date and she ordered all this food and he ended up leaving her. And
That's exactly
he
what
was
happened.
saying, so like, he was like, and I told you, like, I feel like girls be trying to finesse. And I was like, I don't have to finesse you for dinner. I was like, even if you wasn't here, I would have been able to afford this tab myself. I was like, are you implying that you don't want to pay for my food? He was like, no, that's not what I'm implying. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, I was like, I would have respected if you would have said, like, you know, explain this to me instead of like telling me, you know, instead of making those remarks. He was like, oh, I just apologize about that. I said, I understand that, but I'm letting you know why I was upset and why I felt the way I felt. And I was like, honestly, if you feel like people are going to finesse you for dinner, I was like, maybe take them on a bowling date. Like, maybe take them to an arcade. But you're 45 years old. I understand I'm 25, mind you. This man was talking to me about marriage. He was like, you're so mature for your age. Blase, blase, blase. But you're tripping about me ordering appetizer, entree, and sides.
She's legit surprised. This does not happen to her often. You can tell. When something that you have expectations and you always seem to finesse people, and then when it doesn't work, it blows your mind. Like, it's just like, I can't believe that didn't work. Interesting.
So then after I said, like, you know, maybe go on a bowling date or an arcade date, it was quiet for like a couple minutes. He was on his phone. He was calling an Uber. I already knew he was calling an Uber. So then he was like, yeah, I'm going to go. I was like, okay. He puts $100 cash down, walks out. He doesn't say bye. He doesn't say it was nice meeting you. He doesn't say, do you have a ride home? Or is there a way, are you okay to get home? Because remember, like I said, I Ubered with him. He didn't say anything. He just got up and left.
Well, he gave you $100. You're good to go. You can take it. And also, you said you can afford these things. So you could pay for the meal, take it to your friend, and go home. Here she sounds almost shocked that he left without any formalities, but honestly, his departure made sense. At this point, he probably realized that the date was more about what she can get out of him than any real connection. She mentions his lack of a goodbye or a check-in for her ride home as if it's the most offensive part. But from his perspective, he already dropped a generous $100 to cover his portion, was just a drink, and likely some of hers despite feeling taken advantage of. Expecting extra care and courtesy on top of what she feels out of touch with the situation, she's essentially disregarding his experience and framing him as rude or simply choosing to walk away when he saw things weren't right.
Mind you, he said that his daughter's 25 or 24. Your daughter's my age. How would you feel if your daughter went on a date and a man treated her like that? But I digress. But yeah, all them comments that y'all making about like me doing too much, shut it up.
She cut off all comments for all her videos at this point. She does not like the reaction she was getting.
Thank you.
Actually, let's talk about it. Let me put the light on. Let's actually talk about it, okay? I ordered my drink. He ordered his drink. I ordered a half a dozen oysters. I want to say maybe that's around like $15 to $18, I think. We were at Eddie V's. I can't remember how much. That's normally how much it would be. After that, he said that he wasn't hungry. He didn't want to eat. I ordered an entree. I ordered lamb chops. Mind you, prior to this date, I told him that I wanted steak. Like I said, I was in the mood for like steak and like
get over it.
Asparagus, mac and cheese. Like I was saying all this, so it's not nothing that was just, you know. I ordered lamb chops, mac and cheese, Brussels sprouts, and crab fried rice, half sizes.
That's a lot of damn food. So let me show you. So this is what she ordered. So we're gonna go, it's only a couple of seconds, but you see the food in question everyone's crying about. The food that she tried to take advantage of this guy. That's a lot for one person. That's a lot of food. So she tried to finesse him and bring food to some other person that she probably really wanted to hang out with and thought that he should just do this without any question. That's a lot of food. It's weird. It's a weird thing. And then also you didn't bring this up beforehand. So you just sprung this on him and he felt after he already told you red flags about dealing with women that take advantage of him. And you still did it. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna still try and see what happens. Yeah, that's a weird amount of food for one person to eat. It is. That's why he kept saying, are you gonna eat all that? Because how many sides is that? Because the food was going to somewhere else, probably the person you actually wanted to see. It became clear that this was a feast for one person and her little friend. And I think instead of treating this date as a way to connect, she used this as an opportunity to indulge at his expense, then play the victim when he walked away. So that's just my opinion, but let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.